Live.
We are live.
Let me pull us up on phone so people can talk to us.
Sure.
It's taken a minute, but we'll go ahead and start. So,
Okay.
hello, welcome. I'm Corey Walmsley. I'm the CEO of Aurora Coriolis Publishing House, and this is my fabulous author, best-selling author, Gloria Ward. I never get tired of saying best-selling author.
Yes. Look.
Yeah, so, oh, yes, yes.
It sits here. It sits right here on my desk because I said to myself, I said, you know what? I am going to look at this every day because all of the hoping and the dreaming and everything before we got started, and then when I took that leap with you to say that I really was going to do this, I mean, I just did not know that it would, just be as amazing as it is now. And just to think that it's only the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't have the chance to thank you publicly, but I would say to you and everyone who is listening right now, who's in Corey's group, I'm telling you, telling you, telling you, I could tell you guys right now, before we even start the interview, if you say that you are going to write your book and you really commit to it, it is so beneficial when you do because you have something physical that now you can give to your audience and you have a piece of you. And Corey does a fantastic job in helping you just dissect everything inside of your book so that she could pull the best out of you so that you're able to get everything that you want and dream of and worked hard for in that book that you create. So I know this is the interview, so I'm gonna be quiet. But yes, that is true. I'm so excited and very thankful.
Well, thank you. And I am so thankful that we got to work with you and get that book out. I love that you called it a piece of you because
Yes.
that's what your book is. It really is a piece of you. So let's start by introducing you. You can talk a little about who you are and what you do. So go ahead.
Yes, my name is Gloria Ward, and I am the founder of the fabulous, amazing The I'm Loving Me Project, where we inspire women to love themselves. We inspire women to live their highest and truest self. And I've been doing this for like 3 years now. I've been an entrepreneur for over 18 years. Uh, but I knew that this was my purpose 3 years ago once I went through a lot of stuff in my life. I went through divorce, I went through uh, heartache and heartbreak and all this stuff that we women go through. But I finally decided to look myself in the mirror and I finally decided to, say to myself that I wanted more out of my life. And I knew that I was better than what I was going through at that moment. And so I decided to love me. And when I looked in the mirror and I found out all those things that was wrong with me, I started my journey to go ahead and correct it. And what I did was is I said, how many other women out there feel the same as me, right? Who go through a divorce but don't know what to do, who experience trauma in their life and really don't know that it's trauma, right? Because you just thinking you're living your life and everything is, fine. But you just don't understand why you're not getting ahead. What is stopping you? And you know that there's something more inside of you, but you just don't know how to get that out, right? And so at the I'm Loving Me Project, we help you recognize those things. We help you recognize that, yes, you've been through the trauma, you've been through the heartbreak, you've been through all of these things. But at the same time, that feeling that you feeling inside of you, it's real and it's true and it is possible. And you can make your dreams come true and you can do those things that you want to do, and I'm a living testimony about that. So that's it.
Yes, you absolutely are. You do such amazing things. And, I think it's very important that people are recognizing that. I mean, this is stuff we don't talk about in school. This is stuff we don't talk about in in the community in general. And we need people stepping up and saying, this is how I've lived my life. I know you have this going on too. This is how I can help you. And
Exactly.
yeah, so I love that that was the inspiration for your work. And I wanted to talk a bit about the inspiration for your book too, because I know they're very tied together. So can you tell me a little about it?
Yes. So becoming truly you, which I love, which I'm going to do my shameless plug, right? Because you have on the colors, right? Becoming truly
Oh,
you.
I didn't even realize that.
Yes, becoming truly you um, is a guide to self-healing. And the reason why I wrote the book is because I needed to flush out all those things in my life that I thought was holding me back. And then I realized that those were experiences that I needed in order to push me forward into the person that I am now. Does that make sense? And it wasn't until I was working with you where I had all these stories, right? And I had all these experiences, but I really didn't know, you know, how I was going to put them together and how emotional it was going to be for me when I started to write, right? Um, I didn't even recognize that I had mommy issues until I really got into writing the book, right? When you started asking me questions about how did it really make you feel? And what were some of the things that you were thinking, or can you remember XYZ? And I was saying to myself, like, damn, you know what? I really need to flush out some of this stuff that is inside of me because I didn't even know that it was there. Where somebody is telling you, and I mentioned this in the book, that you're really, you're not my child, you're just my grandchild. And you hearing that over and over and over again for a person that you love, at the time, you don't think it affects you. But then you realize just how much it affects you when someone says to you, I like you, but I really don't love you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you start to process that as the same thing. So, what does that do as a woman? You go out there and you allow someone to treat you a certain way. You allow someone to take advantage of you and your body and everything because of what you learned when you were younger and what you were told when you were younger. So I can understand now by writing, right? Why I allowed certain things to happen because of the things that I was told and the experiences that I experienced. So the book is about that. It's about me understanding why I was doing the things that I was doing that put me in a state where I had to find myself, but also as a self-healing guide to know and remind myself that there's always a way out,
Mhm.
right? There's always a positive side because once you start to flush those things out, you become the person that you really are, you know, and you let all that stuff go.
Yeah. Um, So I want to talk a little about something you touched on. You mentioned, like when I was, so just backing it up a little bit. So when worked with Gloria, same way I work with all of my coaching clients, when they give me some of their work, I read through it and I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I'll go through and say, I also say nice things like, I really love this. I love the emotion here. This is very open and very good. This is a really interesting story. You're a good storyteller. I say a lot of that kind of stuff, but I'll also say stuff like she was saying, well, how did you feel here? Well, what did you think? And one of the things that I'll spot in somebody's writing is it gets, for lack of better words, very staccato. So
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of like shorter sentences. You'll see a lot of very like surface level stuff. I went here, this is what we did, I put on my jacket, and it's very like, there's something here we need to dig into.
That's
So that was some of the stuff, and not calling you out or anything,
Mhm,
but I
mhm.
know that you're so good about opening up and talking about this stuff. So that's why I wanted to talk with you about it.
Yeah.
Being on the receiving end of those questions, what did what did you do when you were seeing like all of my questions, like, tell me more about this? Did you have some sort of a process that you had to work through, or anything that you did when you were writing that?
You know what? I would do a lot of walking, and I would do just a lot of self-reflection. Why? Because I won't say I wasn't afraid to tell the story, but I didn't want to put anything out there that I felt would be, intimidating for the people who read it, like my family and everyone. So I mostly tried to watch my words in the beginning, right? So I went through periods of, should I say what I really want to say? Should I actually say how I feel? Or should I go ahead and just, keep it surface level?
Mhm.
And it will be weeks, right? Where you like, come on, are you writing? You need to write more, you need to do some more. And I'm like, well, I have to figure out if this is what I want to do. But then I thought about it, and I said to myself, I said, well, what is the purpose of the book if you're going to sit up here and hold back? How are you going to set an example for the women if you are going to hide, right? What's meaningful for you, right? Saying that, your uncle tried to rape you. If someone in your family sees that, you're so worried about what they would think that you want to tell the story, but you're trying to keep it surface level and really not say how you felt. That's not doing the work, right? That's not living up to what you said you was going to do, right? And then when you would ask me questions like, okay, Gloria, I need a little bit more here because I understand what you're trying to say,
Mhm.
but I need to know how you felt. Because here you are, you're 14, you're holding this big old gun, right? In front of this grown man. What is the feeling that you felt? And going back to that feeling, you feel it's like I started to feel the same kind of feelings when I was in that room, right? And those things you don't want to feel because it's like a trigger. It's
Yeah.
like something where you're like, I'm afraid,
Mhm.
but how can you release it? Like when we used to talk, right?
Yeah.
How can you teach someone that this is the process that you go through? How can you talk about forgiveness and everything if you have not really put your best effort into it to really think about how you feel? Because it's the book is not for you, right? The book is not for you. It's for the person who's reading it.
Mhm.
They need to know how to get through or get the advice or the mentorship or whatever it is that you are supplying to them. They are picking up your book because they need an answer. They
Mhm.
need comfort. They need advice, right? And so it was hard in the beginning until you take yourself out of it and you understand that it is not about you. It's about the other person, you know, and you just stick to it and you deal with whatever that comes. And that's how you get one of these.
And I know that's a hard thing to do, is
It
to,
is.
step back and say, all right, this is more about them than it is me. And I'm just guiding them with my stories. And I mean, you did such a beautiful job of that walking people through, this is the story, this is how it's going
But
to
I
help.
think you do it too, Corey, where your book, when you talk about how to write a book and you're on your platform every day encouraging people and giving them advice, you're giving them the real deal, right? You're telling them, hey, you know, if you want to learn how to write that damn book, here is the way you accomplish it, and here is the way that you get it done. And if you need some help, then come to me because I can mentor you and guide you along the way, right? If you're serious about it, you will take it. And when you put that information out there, you already an expert. You already know what to do. You wrote 8 books, right? So it's not for you, right?
Yeah.
You're saying this is the real deal, and if you want it, let's go because we're ready and we're making bestsellers over here. And if you want to be one of them, let's go ahead and make it happen, right? So
Yeah.
it's not about you because you already done it. You already went through it,
Yeah.
right? And that's what a first time author like myself and others have to keep in mind that when you're writing, you're not writing to sell books. You're writing to change a life. You are writing to help improve someone's life, to improve their way of being, their way of thinking, and what they're doing, right? And that's why you put your heart into it, and that's why you get help. Because if you don't know all the answers and you need someone to help you with it, then you get the mentorship and you get people like you to help.
Mhm. Absolutely. And when you know that you have a big message and that message matters to a lot of people, then you do what
Exactly.
you can to, or do what you have to get it out there in a big way.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the reasons why um, I decided to really take the step to writing because do you know how many people are reading this book? Like I have people in my family who haven't read a book since they was in high school and they 60 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
And was waiting for this. I know part of it is because they were proud of me, right? But I know a big part of it is because they want to know how I felt, right? And what is uh, exciting about it, and I say this to all the authors too on the platform, what's exciting about it is when your close friends and family and everyone actually reads your material, trust and believe that they are looking at you and saying to themselves, wow, if they can do it, I know I can, right? If they can sit and be that disciplined, then I know that there is something in me. And even if they don't take the advice that you have in the book or is not relevant to them, they are going to be your biggest supporters and promoters and help you because they are proud of you, but also you are reintroducing yourself to them because most of the time they only know you one way,
Right.
right? And so that's what's been happening to me. People have been saying, "Oh my God, Gloria, I didn't know that this happened to you," or you had such great advice on this topic, or whatever. Like my aunt in the book who gave me her last to come to Atlanta.
Mhm.
She calls me Princess. She said, Princess, she said, I got my book and I read it. And I just want to say that I'm so proud of you. And you didn't have to tell that story about, what I did for you because I always was going to do something for you anyway. And one of the things that I told her was, you just don't understand how much you changed my life. Because of that $400 that you gave me, and that was everything you had in your bank account, and you allowed me to have it so that I can come to Atlanta to go to school, I got this.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm.
So
That's
you
amazing.
so you never know. You never know. And look who came along the way. I got you. I got my team, I got everyone, because that's how it starts, right? So, all of you authors out there, that's how it starts. You take one step, someone else will take another. You have a mentor right here every day telling you and pushing you. If it's for you, I suggest strongly that you get started, because this is just like my first time. This is like my first journey. There's plenty of more books that's coming, right? Because you guys see that I love to talk, right? So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and you are such a good storyteller too. That was, I mean, that was a really strong point of the book. And so I did want to talk a little bit about your bestseller status. So you launched your book in January, and I know it feels like that was just like yesterday. Now it's like,
yes.
oh gosh, it's almost April. So you launched your book and you became a bestseller that day. Tell me a little bit about how that felt, and what all you've been doing since then. Like, what has that allowed for you?
Me and my team was sweating all day for many hours, watching Amazon, watching and calling people, everything. And then when I hit, I said to myself, I said, I can do it. I can do this.
Yeah.
This is real, right? And it was like an awakening. You get like an awakening because you say to yourself, the hard work that I put into it, I actually feel what it feels like when it pays off. And I don't really want to lose that feeling. You know what I mean? Like, again, the reward comes when people tell you that they use the book, it changed their life and everything. But also the silent reward that you get for yourself is you say, damn, I actually did it. Because we always second guess ourselves, right?
Mhm.
We always have periods where we're like, oh man, here I got to think of something else and I got to write this chapter and I got to make sure I get this and I'm on a deadline. And you always think you're not good enough. You always think that you can work hard. You always think that something else is missing, right?
Mhm.
But when you see that you move to that bestseller status and other people validate you, it makes you say, you know what? I am going to accept the fact that I am a bestseller. I am going to accept that because that's how you get more,
Yeah.
right? And that's how you get better. And that's how you write more. And that's how you encourage and you inspire more, right? So I took it all in. I took it all in. It was stressful in the beginning, but when it happened, I was just like, I'm I was ecstatic. I had two things of tequila. I did.
I'm hoping you mean shots, not bottles.
Oh yeah, shots. Yeah. Shots. That's right. Let's clear that up.
Yeah, to start putting out a warning to
I know it. I know it.
be very careful with your celebration.
I
We
know it.
want you to get to that next book.
That's right. Please, uh,
Uh,
the
so
comments
I
and
did.
suggestions that's coming from me, please ignore.
So yeah, so you hit bestseller, and I know we had talked briefly about doing workshops and using the book, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about that. How are you using the book in your business? What are you doing with that?
So what we decided to do, because becoming truly you is a self-healing guide, right? One of the things that I didn't want was, oh, Gloria, I read the book. It was amazing. You got some good points in it. Fantastic job. Because it's not about me, right? Like we spoke about earlier. So I said to myself, I said, you know what? In order to really make an impact and really allow women to understand the process of what they need to do to become themselves, and to start to transform their lives, let's go ahead and put some action behind it, right? So I said, we're going to create a journal out of it. We're going to do a mini course out of it because we need to allow ourselves to let some stuff go. What is the power of forgiveness? You can read it, but 2 days later, you still carrying it, right?
Yeah.
You can go ahead and say, yes, I was inspired by her story, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to do some affirmations in the mirror. They're not going to work
Mhm.
because you're not putting the effort into it to really make the change. Not because you don't want to, because you need to learn how, right?
Mhm.
So I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make becoming truly you like a pilgrimage. This is the first part or introduction to what it means to figure out who you truly are, right? So I said, we're going to make it a book, and then we're going to make it a course. We're going to have a journal attached to it. And then I want to see them all in person
Mhm.
because I want to see if they're doing the work. I want to be able to hug them and touch them and say, hey, I'm a living testimony of what this work is,
Mhm.
right? So let's all get together and let's talk about it. Let's really do some transformational work. So it is a book, a journal, a course, a workshop here in Atlanta. We're open, like, you know, so we freely doing what we want to do despite everything that's going on. So we're going to go ahead and see if we could have our workshop in April here in Atlanta
Mhm.
so that all of the women who want to become truly themselves will have that opportunity to come hear from me, hear from some other speakers, and allow themselves and allow all of us to sit down and have a conversation about what it means to do that and how you really take those action steps and really form that community,
Mhm.
right? So I'm excited about it.
That is very, very exciting.
Yep.
I didn't realize the full scope of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I love that, books start conversations. This is
it
what it's all
does.
about. And you are taking that to such a huge level, and it's amazing. I'm really thrilled to hear about all of that. Um, yeah, so that's coming up very soon. Or do you have more plans down the road, or we
Oh,
just taking it
right
one piece?
now, we did the whole campaign thing for it on Sunday.
Uh,
We're looking at April. We're trying to see if we could do 3 cities. We want to be able to come to Pittsburgh, depending on what the rules are up there. So
yeah.
now we have Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and maybe Texas, depending on the rules there, because that's where our biggest audiences are.
Okay.
And we want to be able to make this thing a movement. Every woman knows that there's something more inside of her.
Yeah.
You go to work and you say to yourself, I don't belong here. You say that to yourself. You go home and you lay down that night and you say, I could be doing more with my life,
Mhm.
right? You cook every day for your family. You're doing all this stuff. And you say to yourself, it's more than just this. I
Yeah.
know it, right? The pilgrimage starts here. You got to find out who you are. Who are you? You're more than a mom. You're more than a wife. You're more than that person that you see in the mirror because right now, the only thing that you're looking at is all the things that you don't like or the things that you feel you have to be and do. You have to figure out how to become truly you. You have to figure out how you let that little girl inside of you who had all the hopes and dreams and aspirations and imagination and everything come out right? And I say this uh, to the group: the same brain that you're trying to write a book with, and the same brain that you're trying to build a business with, is the same brain that's self-sabotaging, the same brain that's speaking negatively, the same brain that's questioning.
Mhm.
You got to be able to know and have that balance and speak self-assurance to yourself, because that's the only way you're going to get through it. You got to understand that it's more important for you to have someone like Corey, a mentor, someone who's on that other side, not only giving you the affirmation and the push and everything to get you to the finish line, but also to speak to you so that you understand just how important you are and how meaningful it is for you to take that step and get your book done. Because if you left it up to your own brain, you wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen people do that. They
Because there's
talk
so much
themselves out
stuff
of it.
going on. You can't even think straight. You can't even write.
Yeah. Yeah. You sit there and tell yourself, oh, I don't know if people want to hear this. I
I
don't
don't
know if
have
it's good enough.
time, and I got to get the kids. I got to do
Yeah.
this. No, no. You got to do it. You
Yeah.
got to do it. So don't be hard on yourself. The easiest thing to do is to get the help. Tell Corey, you know what? I throw up my hands. If you can help me, I could get through it. Because if I had to rely on myself to get it done, it won't get done. Because my brain is moving in 10,000 different directions. It's telling me I'm good. It's telling me I'm bad. It's telling me I'm this. It's telling me I have to do that. Well, you need focus,
Mhm.
right? And that's how it happens.
And then the next thing you know, you've got a book, you're a best-selling author, and you're starting a movement with workshops and
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, so many good things. I'm just over the moon for you, Gloria. I love hearing all this stuff, and of course, I always love chatting with you.
Oh my
Um,
God, you are. You should be a proud mama right now, where I will definitely continue to make sure I make you proud. And there's so many more books to come, so young your young eagle is flying in the wind, right? Putting herself out there
I
and,
love it.
and making it happen. And everything that we do, I always give you the credit, and your team and Karen and everyone, because it takes a village to make it happen, right?
It
and
really does.
and and I'm excited about that, and I'm so happy that you were patient, that you pushed me, and that you allowed me to have my own space where I can talk to you and you can talk me through things. So I just love you.
I love you, and I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we should probably wrap it up. We've been on here a while
I
chatting.
know. Okay, guys. Sorry,
Not seeing any questions. We had a couple people watching us. So hello, Tina, and I don't remember how to pronounce your name. Is it Rania? Rania? Hello, ladies. It's great having you here with us. If you do have questions, make sure you drop them below. And we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. And if you are watching the replay, of course, you can ask questions and we will hop on and answer them for you. Yeah, so, oh, okay. Doesn't look like any questions yet. So if you guys have questions, yeah. Gloria, tell us where we can find you, because I want to make sure people can find you, your book, and if they're interested in your workshops, they can learn more about that.
Absolutely. You can go to imlovingme.net. Everything is there. You can go there and purchase the book if you would like. It's also on Amazon. Just look for Becoming Truly You with my name, Gloria Ward, and you will see information not only about the book, about the workshop date, and all of the stuff that we're doing if you are a business owner. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us,
Thank
and
you.
many, many, many more books to come, right? Oh,
Absolutely.
yes. We got a question about your links. So we will be putting the links below so everybody can check them out. And yes, thank you for joining us. And thank you, Gloria. It was wonderful talking with you today.
I
So
appreciate it.
bye-bye, everybody.
See ya.